Hello, everyone. A pleasant day to each and every one of you. Welcome to the Port Food and Beverage Expo, or the PABEX, as organized by the Kamsur Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Welcome to the tax briefing under the Bureau of Internal Revenue. In registering your business to BIR, we will just have to follow the three simple steps, such as the RFP, or the register, file, and pay. The first step is how to register. What are the documents needed? What are the forms to be accomplished? We will discuss as we go along. As provided under Section 236 of the Tax Code, or the National Internal Revenue Code, NIRC, that every person subject to any internal revenue tax shall register once with the appropriate revenue district office. When? You should register on or before the commencement of your business. So this is the legal basis as provided under the tax code, requiring you to register your business at the BIR. These are now the documents required or needed in registering your business at the BIR. Number one, any government issued ID or birth certificate. And number two, duly accomplished BIR Form 1901. The following are the examples of a government issued ID, such as voter's ID, the UMID, postal ID, SSS, GSIS ID, LTO or the driver's license, senior citizens ID, and so on and so forth. Document number two is BIR Form 1901. So the taxpayer or the business owner will have to accomplish BIR Form 1901 in registering the business. This form is available at the all BIR offices. So take note, it is very easy. The BIR only requires you two documents in registering your business. Number one, any valid ID or birth certificate. And number two, duly accomplished BIR Form 1901. But take note, If your business has a trade name or a business name, the BIR will require you to submit your DTI certificate. What is this DTI certificate? The DTI office issued this DTI certificate to those business who has applied for a trade name or business name so that he or she has that exclusive rights to use that aforesaid trade name or business name. After completing the registration process, the BIR will now give you the following documents as a proof of your business registration. Number one, Certificate of Registration or BIR Form 2303. Under this BIR Certificate of Registration is the summary of important details of your business registration at the BIR, such as taxpayer's name, taxpayer identification number or the TIN, taxpayer's address, the date of registration of your business, the tax types that you are going to file, your trade name, and your line of business. Aside from the certificate of registration, the BIR will also give you this following poster, the Ask for Receipt poster. This poster should be displayed conspicuously at your place of business. After you have secured your certificate of registration at the BIR, you are also required to secure the following. Number one, the authority to print or the ATP for the invoice or for the official receipts that you are going to use in your business. And number two, you are also required to register your books of accounts. In your screen right now is the sample of the ATP or the application for authority to print, the BIR Form 1906. You have to secure first the approval from the BIR through this form, Form 1906, before you can go to the printing press to proceed for the printing of your invoice or your official receipts. This is to enlighten you as well as to guide you what kind of documents are you going to use in your business. If your business is selling of services, you will use official receipts. But if your line of business is selling of goods or merchandise, you will use sales invoice. With regards to books of accounts, the following are the examples of books of accounts: cash register receipts, cash disbursements, journal, ledger, subsidiary ledger, combined cash journal, simplified set of bookkeeping records or the SSBR, or the famous Blue Book. The BIR personnel will evaluate what kind of books of accounts that is appropriate to your business. You have already completed the first step of the RFP, the register, file, and pay. You have already completed the first level, which is the registration process. We will now proceed with the next level, which is filing. But the question is, what are you going to file and how are you going to file it? In order for you to know what tax forms or tax returns that you are required to file, you just have to refer to your BIR certificate of registration. It is indicated under the tax types section what kind of tax that you are required to file. In this video presentation, I will discuss briefly these different kind of taxes, as well as each corresponding tax returns and their due dates. Number one, registration fee. Registration fee is payable yearly on or before January 31 at a fixed amount of 500 pesos using the form BIR Form 0605. The next type of tax is the percentage tax. But the question is, how can we compute the percentage tax? Percentage tax is computed by simply multiplying your total gross receipts, gross sales, or gross revenue by 3%. using BIR Form 2551Q. The following illustrative problem shows the result of business operation of taxpayer Crystal Dakuykui of her business during the first quarter of 2021. We have the monthly gross sales, the cost, the gross profit, the expenses, and the net income. For the 3 months of the first quarter of 2021. Using the data of the illustrative problem, can you compute the percentage tax due of taxpayer Crystal Dakuykui for the first quarter of 2021? How much is the percentage tax due? Okay, let us compare our answers. In computing the percentage tax due, again, we just simply multiply the gross sales, the gross receipts, or gross revenue by 3%. In this illustrative data, how much is the gross sale for the quarter of taxpayer Crystal Dakuykui? How much? Yes, it is 450,000. The total gross sales for the first quarter of 2021. Can we now compute the percentage tax due? Okay, let us check your answers. How much is the percentage tax due? So, percentage tax is computed by multiplying gross receipts, gross sales, gross revenue by 3%. In the illustrative problem, taxpayer Crystal Dakuykui has a gross sales for the quarter amounting to 450,000. Multiply it by the tax rate of 3%, the percentage tax due is total to 13,500. That is the percentage tax due. The following is the due dates for filing the percentage tax returns. For the first quarter, the due date is April 25. For the second quarter, July 25. The third quarter, October 25. And for the fourth quarter, January 25 of the following year. So please take note of the due date for filing the percentage tax returns. Again, the form is BIR Form 2551Q. The next type of tax is the income tax. Before we can compute the income tax due or the income tax payable, we have first to compute the net taxable income. The following is the formula in computing the net taxable income. Gross receipts less the cost is equals to the gross income or the gross profit less the expenses, we will arrive at the net taxable income. Again, we will use the same illustrative problem. Taxpayer Crystal Dakuykui. For the first quarter 2021. But this time, we will compute the income tax payable for the first quarter of 2021. Using the data of the illustrative problem of taxpayer Crystal Dakuykui, we have arrived a net taxable income of 270,000 for the first quarter of 2021. That is gross sales of 450,000 less the cost of 67,500 is equals to the gross profit of 382,500 less the operating expenses of 112,500 is equals to the net income or the net taxable income of 270,000. Again, using the same data, the net taxable income of taxpayer Crystal Dakuykui is 270,000 for the first quarter of 2021. We have already computed the net taxable income of taxpayer Crystal Dakuy amounting to 270,000. We are now going to compute the income tax due from that said net taxable income. How much is the net, I'm sorry, how much is the income tax payable or the income tax due of taxpayer Crystal Dakuy? The following is the income tax table with brackets and the tax due column. If the net taxable income is not over 250,000, the tax due or the tax payable is exempt. Under the next bracket, if the net taxable income is over 250,000 but not over 400,000, the tax due is 20% of excess of 250,000, and so on and so forth. That is the income tax table. That will be our guide in computing the income tax payable or the income tax due. Using the income tax table, we will now determine at which bracket does the net taxable income of 270,000 classify. The net taxable income of 270,000, that is the net taxable income of taxpayer Crystal Dakuy for the first quarter of 2021, falls under the bracket of over 250,000 but not over 400,000. The corresponding tax due is the 20% of excess of 250,000. Based on the second bracket of the income tax table, which is more than 250,000 but not more than 400,000, the income tax due is computed as follows. So the first 250,000 net income is exempt, while the excess of 250,000, which is 20,000, is subject to the 20% income tax rate. So that is 4,000. So total tax due for the net taxable income of 270,000 is 4,000. So that will be the income tax due or the income tax payable of taxpayer Crystal Dakuy for the first quarter of 2021. We have already completed the two steps of the RFP. Number one, the registration, and number two, the filing. We are now going to proceed to number three, which is pay. But the question is, where are we going to pay? We can file our returns and pay the corresponding taxes through the BIR's authorized agent bank. To name a few, in RDO 65, Naga City, we have 14 authorized agent bank like Land Bank, PNB, BPI, Veterans Bank, and among others. For those taxpayers who are outside the city of Naga, you can file your tax returns and pay the corresponding taxes through our revenue collection officers. We have a revenue collection officer in every municipality that is under the jurisdiction of RDO 65 Naga City. Just a reminder to file your tax returns and pay the corresponding taxes on or before the due date so that so that we can avoid the tax penalties. That concludes my tax briefing video presentation for the fourth Food and Beverage Expo, PABEX. But if you have any more inquiries, questions, or verifications, you can reach us through our social media page at Facebook, BIR 65 Naga City. Or you can visit us at our office, BIR Building, J. Miranda Avenue, Naga City. Thank you very much. and keep safe, and God bless to each and everyone. Thank you.